Stepmother, tell me, what can I do to please you? Because I feel like you hate me. Maybe I'm wrong, and if so, I'm so sorry to say such words towards you because you always been so kind to me. But sometimes I feel like you really do not love me. Please advise.
Poor little thing, are you really asking me if I have something against you? Are you dumb? Are you stupid? Or are you an idiot? Because, of course, my girl, I love you. You're so charming, you're so kind, and you have a pure heart. How could I hate someone like you? Everything that I do is because I love you. Do you really think I will ask you to do such a work if I didn't like you? Of course not. I love you from the bottom of my heart, the same way that I love your dad. Unfortunately, he's no longer with us. Rest in peace. But my dear, I will never, ever, ever do something mean to you.
Am I crazy? This might be my thing. I'm the good who cheers my peace when the heart speaks for my mind. I'm the bad who takes others down. Am I crazy? This might be my thing. After all, I am lazy. Did I tell you I do not care? 'Cause I'm the priestess of good and bad.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my channel. And in my first video, I've decided that we'll talk about Snow White. Why Snow White? Because they released the live action, I think it was this year or the last one. It was pretty controversial. And if you don't know why, just check on Google on your favorite social media platform and you will know why. But me? I will not focus on that, why people complain about this or that. I will really focus mostly on the story. And to be honest, that was not the best decision ever. Not because of the main actress, like that she's like what she is, if you understand what I mean, for those of you who know about the controversial, but we'll get into this. Okay, so Disney decided to hire as Snow White an actress named Rachel Zegler. So this actress plays Snow White, so she has fair skin, black hair. For some people say no, but anyway, for me she has fair skin, actually with all the makeup that they put on her face. And yeah, she has black hair, she has the dress that's of Snow White. So when you see her, you're like, okay, she's Snow White. Not a big deal, right? Not a big deal. Right? Unfortunately, not for everyone. People were complaining because of her being Latina. If I said Latina, it's because I know Latina is not a race, if you can say it like that. But anyway, she's not from European descent, if you understand what I mean. Not 100%, because I'm pretty sure she has, but it's another topic. People are complaining about that, and as I said in this video, I will not focus about her race, or ethnicity, whatever you want to call. I will just really focus on the story of Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs, and how Disney live action decided to show it, in this modern age, and if it was faithful to the story or if it was not, if the iconic characters that we all loved from the cartoon were respected. We'll see all of this in this video. Let's go back in time and travel in 1937, when actually Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs was released in the cinema in the USA. Yes, Snow White was a huge success. It was different, or different in a good way, from the cartoon that used to be released and very popular in the USA and I suppose in the rest of the world. Usually they were more attracted by short format, but Disney decided to have a movie in the long format, because if I'm not wrong, Snow White, the cartoon lasts an hour and 30 minutes, something like that. But when I watched it, I had the feeling like it was only lasting 30 minutes, because everything goes very fast and you're really into it. Not that it's so wow for me, but you're really into it because the music are really appealing. Anyway, it was a huge success, and Snow White got a lot of release since then, either in a musical form or movie format. It was a very huge success. For those of you who might not know why, let me recap quickly because I'm pretty sure most of you know about the story. So from Walt Disney's story is centered around a young lady. If I'm not wrong, she's 16, very pure, innocent, with a good heart. When she's going to turn 16, her evil stepmother, as her title says, will be very jealous of her. She has a big mirror where she said always miroir, miroir, dis-moi qui est la plus belle. And every time the mirror said, it is you, you're the fairest among all. Until one day, Timur said, but one day someone will be more beautiful than you. And this person is, yes, you're right, Snow White. And before that this day may happen, the evil stepmother decides to hire someone, the huntsman, who has to kill her and bring one of his Snow White organs. I'm not sure if it's a lung, liver, or a heart, but one of Snow White organs, just to be sure that she's dead, and then she will still be the fairest among all. But unfortunately, it doesn't happen. The huntsman takes pity of Snow White and decided to leave her to live, and he let her be in the wood all by herself. Yes, a very smart choice. But despite being alone, wandering in the woods, and because she's very innocent, she doesn't know that maybe some bad people may be hidden in the wood and want to hurt her. But thank God it's Disney, so nothing bad happened to her. She sees a cottage, a very small one, but big enough for her to enter it. She decides to rest. When she wakes up, she sees seven little, not kind of little heads, or to say, they are the dwarfs, the famous seven dwarfs. The team, a bond is born between Snow White and the seven dwarfs. She met the prince, the evil stepmother, then learned that Snow White is still alive. How? Because she contacts her magic mirror asking, miroir, miroir, dis-moi qui est la plus belle. And it keeps saying like Snow White is still the most fairest among all. So she knows that the hunter tricked her. She decides to turn into the famous old woman that we all know. She has the red apple. She goes see Snow White all by herself this time, not sending one of her minions. And Snow White, pure the way she is, she believed this old lady and took the red apple. She got a bite and she's not feeling well, and she falls asleep. The dwarves, when they come back from work, they realize that Snow White is not moving. They think she's dead, but not completely. She still has face, so they put her in this rave crystal, if I'm not wrong. One day, a prince arrives. He sees her, fall in love with her, and he decides to kiss her. And
Dear Lord, what has happened?
people now have to understand that Snow White was released in 1937, so obviously do not expect the character to be a character that we would expect to have in our modern society. You cannot really judge. I'm lying. We can judge and criticize, even though it was released in the 17th centuries, in the early 20th centuries, or in the 5th centuries. We can do that. And a lot of people criticize her for that reason. Snow White is criticized a lot because she's seen as completely useless girl while she's just the housemaid when she's living in the Seven Dwarfs cottage. Yeah, but me, I take the context into consideration, so that's why I'm like, why do you expect Snow White to be an independent woman the same way we see Sarah Connor? You have to deal with that. Snow White is not someone born in 2020. So definitely she's there, she's singing, she has a pure heart, she's innocent, and she don't want to do anything bad. What is something that we find in an old man character? They're always good, but obviously the way they are good is different from Snow White. Knowing the context, though, allow us to know why Snow White is the way she is. For people watching Snow White now, back in the day, I don't think that women were expecting Snow White to be any type of woman that we will see nowadays, or maybe they will, but anyway, it was not a big deal. And really, me, when I watched this movie, I knew the context, and because of that, I didn't complain, especially because I'd have no issue with a woman or a girl being very cute and innocent and kind and wanting to have a man. Doesn't mean that I want to be this kind of girl, no, but I still appreciate if the character is good. And in the case of Snow White in the cartoon, I find her very cute. She's funny, she's always singing. I'm like, girl. I'm like, girl, but she's cute, she's not doing anything wrong, so please, be kind with her. For those of you who may not know, Snow White and the Seven Dwarfs is not a story originally from Walt Disney. He was a genius, yes, we can't say otherwise. But the Snow White didn't come from him. Actually, he was highly inspired. I don't know if I can say inspired at this label, but let's say very highly inspired by the Brothers Grimm, who were German. For those of you who didn't know, they created a lot of folklore tales, and many of us were, Disney took many of them, and even themselves, the brothers, were very inspired by the tales from their generation or generation before them, mostly coming from European countries. And the Snow White from the Grimm brothers was released in 1812, so it was a very long time ago. The original name was, I'm sorry for every German who will listen to this video or those who knows how to pronounce German, but I didn't study German, I'm sorry. The title was Sneewittchen, yes, which means Snow White. In the Brothers Grimm version of Snow White, the evil stepmother tried multiple times to kill Snow White. If I'm not wrong, it was 3 times, and every time that she tried to trick Snow White, she changed her appearance. But the last one was the one that we know from Walt Disney, which is offering to this innocent girl the red apple that she bites before falling asleep. The difference with the Disney also is that in Disney we know that Snow White woke up through the kiss from the Prince Charming. Kiss her, she woke up, and happily ever after. That's how the story ends. But in the Brothers Grimm version, it's the servant of the castle, because the Prince Charming decides to bring Snow White to his castle, and one of his servants lost his balance, and unfortunately I forgot my words. Snow White. It dislodged a piece of the poison apple in Snow White's throat, and she wakes up. So there's nothing magic about her waking up. Just someone who fell on her, I suppose, and gonna be very funny. Imagine like the way she wakes up, and not very as beautiful and attractive like we can see in the Walt Disney version, and then it actually throw out the poison apple, and that's how she woke up. It was very interesting. I really encourage anyone to read the version from the Brothers Grimm. I remember reading it. I was a teenager, so it was a very long time ago, and it was very good. I prefer this version than Disney one, but both of them are really interesting anyway. It's just good to see the difference. Now we're back in our time. Now that I give you some context about Snow White, the Walt Disney version, and the Brothers Grimm version, we're going mostly to focus on the Walt Disney version because they focus on this one to create the live action. And if I have to point out the differences, there are not so many. There are differences, but the main one, there are only 2 if I'm not wrong. The first one is about the prince. As I told you, in the Brothers Grimm and Walt Disney version, the cartoon, is a prince. But in this one, in the live action, is a bandit. I don't know why they decided that being a prince was a bad thing, and it has to be the opposite of a well-educated man. So this bandit that I will call the fake prince is the leader of other bandits. I don't even know why they came up with such an idea and thinking it was genius. Let's stop here. So this one is the main part surrounding like this fake prince, and the other one I would say is Snow White is kind of in a way more independent, because if you watch the movie, in the middle of the movie she's riding a horse, and thanks to her ability and power also to talk to animals, she's able to trick the evil stepmother minions who came in the woods to kill her. And so that's one thing. I don't know if I can say about being independent, but there's the thing that we definitely don't see in the cartoon. So those are the main 2 difference. Or the second one, let's be honest, it's not really something, but still it is a little bit. So there are the 2 main differences between the cartoon that we like and this live action movie. So all of this brings us to the pros and cons of this movie. First one, I know people may complain and say like, yeah, it's not normal, you're not supposed to. We have eyes, we have ears. So let's be honest, beauty is something that attracts people. Let's be honest with that. Let's stop trying to pretend that, no, okay, I understand that you will not like a character just because they are beautiful. Maybe not for children, because when we were children, let's be honest, there are some people that really like because they look gorgeous. I was a big fan of Ashanti because she was gorgeous. I was a big fan of Kelly Rowland because she was gorgeous. I mean, I liked the what she was spraying has so much charisma, Kelly Rowland. Yeah, but she was also very gorgeous. Let's be honest with it. Some characters, like as a child, you were in love because they look good. Even though maybe now it's like, oh, they look ugly. You saw that they look good. So that's why you like them. Let's not act as if beauty is something, there's something wrong with beauty. No, there's nothing wrong. If someone is beautiful, let's admit it. Which comes with the fact that the main actress is super gorgeous. Rachel Zegler and Gal Gadot also, they are both really gorgeous. And I remember watching the videos, I saw those videos when they were doing the premiere of the movie, if I'm not wrong. And Rachel had this like short hair like that, and maybe Gal Gadot too. And both of them, they were so stunning, gorgeous. If I saw those kind of women in my office, I'd be like, they're not joking. They are not. They are beautiful. And those who say like, no, remember the Wolf of Wall Street. I just have to say that, and you will understand what I mean by that. Second pro is the fact that despite some changes, because obviously the movies has to be longer because nowadays movie lasts at least 2 hours, they make some change. But apart from that, it was quite faithful to the main story of the cartoon. So for that, I say thank you, Disney. Thank you. Some changes, as I said, with the fact that the prince is the fake prince and it has a whole team of other bandits. That's something didn't exist in the cartoon, or maybe it exists and I completely forgot. I will have to double check that, but I don't think so. No, a few changes, quite faithful to the main story. I didn't say it was good. I'm not saying it's bad, but I say they tried their best to be pretty faithful to the cartoon release in 1937. That's all I'm saying. Third one is the fact that the most iconic characters are there, meaning Snow White. We never know. They could have made a movie called Snow White without Snow White. We never know. So she's there. The evil stepmother is there, and the seven dwarfs are there. Let's be honest. We all remember those kind of three characters. The other one, the mirror. The mirror. Come on. Still, it deserves something. So those four characters are there, and also the outfits used for those characters are quite faithful to what we can see in the cartoon. So I really appreciate that, especially if you want to have some nostalgia. That's really good. I didn't really have some nostalgia because when I watched Snow White, I was an adult, but I still remember her appearance. So yeah, that's good. You know, they're faithful to what they look. So I really appreciate that. Evil stepmother. I really like her. Personally, I really like her. I remember people criticizing Gal Gadot, the way she played. I mean, she's not Kate Blanchett. She's not Meryl Streep. But for me, she was decent. And for me, I really like it. I really liked the way she played the evil stepmother. And she really is faithful to her in the fact that she's supposed to be super gorgeous in the cartoon. And the actress is magnifique. She's magnifique, muy guapa, todo lo que quiere. And she plays her pretty well, and she doesn't have a lot of scenes, to be honest. So it was not so bad. I mean, some people say like the way she played was really bad, but I mean, the overall movie, maybe you see her 20 minutes. I'm not even exaggerating. Maybe it's 20 minutes. It's 20 minutes max, not more than that. So no, I really like her. I mean, more than the rest of the team. But to be completely honest, it was not that complicated, because if you watch the movie, you will understand what I mean by that. The second, I would say, about the characters, because yeah, this is a part about the characters, the dwarfs, they're not amazing for me, but they were okay, much better than all the rest. And now, we're going to talk about the cons. Some people will be mad at me because I'm talking about the look, but we have to, because iconic characters, for many of them, comes with their personality, but also their look. And Snow White, remember her for her style and nice outfits, something that was disrespected in this movie. A wig, I think it was a wig. It was one of the ugliest wig I could see in my life. I mean, the kind of wig that you will see your aunties in the 90s. Like, and our aunties are not rich like Disney. They had all the budgets to have like nice wigs, But they didn't. They used something so cheap. If I hadn't seen this actress on videos and pictures, I would I say like she's not faithful to Snow White because she's not that gorgeous. But I know she's really gorgeous. But this hairstyle, I'm sorry, but dear Lord, they made her dirty. That was really, really not good. And I cannot say this is short hair because during the premiere she has short hair and she was really gorgeous, as I said. But this wig, senior, that was ugly. Like, no way you could respect someone and tell them to wear such a wig. No respect at all. Second aspect, still based on the look, the outfit for all of them. Even though it was quite faithful to the cartoon because to stay on Snow White, the ugly wig and her outfit, it really looks like Snow White. That's why when I was looking at it, I was like, there's something off with this girl. Because I remember Snow White having this kind of hairstyle and outfit. I was like, there's something wrong. And when I was checking online, people were like, it looks so cheap. And I was like, yeah, this is so true. I saw people going to convention as a cosplay having better costume than this one, and those people, I don't think they have the money that they have Walt Disney, right? But they were looking good as Snow White. Just Google picture like Snow White cosplay. I'm sure you will see like some really beautiful women. I mean, beautiful in the everything, like the way they did their hair, the way they have their outfits done, really gorgeous. But in this live action that was released in cinema, when you have to pay almost 20 euro just for a seat, and you see that, I'm like, girl, I could have done it myself. I could have just take like this scarf, change it a little bit, have some yellow thing that will kind of represent Snow White and have a better look. Like, what is going on? And I say better look, it's really like the everything, not like being ugly, like the look, like feeling like Snow White. You understand what I mean? It was no Gal Gadot too. Yeah. But when you saw her in the first scene, she's coming, she's very natural, like she has makeup, but she looks natural and she's looking at the king like, and he's looking at her like, oh god. She's thinking, oh boy, you will be my slave. And he's like, oh yeah. And you know, she's so gorgeous. Her hair looks good. Like the outfit she has is really nice. Simple dress, but she looks really good on it. She rocked the style. But then when she has the outfit that we love from the evil stepmother, there's something going on. It's like as if I don't know. There's something off with the hair. Really something. Dear Lord, she's lucky that she's really beautiful woman. So you can see that she's still beautiful, and at least the costume looks like the stepmother costume. So I was happy for that. Oh, I'm like, yeah, please do something. Don't raise something. This money, this movie was expensive, if I'm not wrong. This movie was expensive. And unfortunately, the money only went to the actor and actresses. I mean, it's good for them, but for us watching this movie and for those who were unlucky enough to watch it in cinema, paying God knows how much for this, I'm like, you need to respect me. If I pay at least 20 euro just for a seat, I didn't even dare to pay the popcorn and the drink 20 euro for a seat. The movie needs to be decent. And when I say decent, I'm not talking about the story. I'm just talking about the costume, the settings, just for that part. Then comes the third aspect. The setting. I'm sorry, but it looks like this movie was recorded in your backyard. And not like the fancy backyard where you know you did something up with the grass, you have like some trees that looks pretty, so when you take pictures you look like you live in an island. No. Like a backyard that you didn't take care for like 3 months. Just go in any woods without doing anything fancy like post-production and you look like this movie. This movie had budget, so you don't have any excuses why it looks so cheap. And especially when there are so many scenes that are filmed outside. I mean, it could have looked really good, but really good. Just do something with the light, like how you just do something. You know, I'm not an expert, obviously, but you could do something really nice. And instead of that, we had just empty woods with bare trees as if like they were starving. Come on, respect the nature. Just respect the nature. It was really cheap, and I'm sorry, but the look and the setting, it was a big no. It was a big no, but it was not the only one. They were not the only one. Yes, Snow White. For me, this girl is not carrying the movie at all. And it's not the problem of Snow White in itself, the way she's written, because we all watched the cartoon, kind of. It's the problem of the actress. I saw her in two other movies. It was The Hunger Games, the last one, I forgot the title, and West Side Story. Anita, my girl. Yeah. Anyway, and the way she plays for me is a big no. She doesn't have those expressions that made me fall into her. Quite the opposite. I'm like, you cannot convince me, and because you do not convince me, I can't be into the movie. And that's the big problem, because the main actor is someone to carry a movie. Take any of your favorite movie or series, even though the main actor could be not your favorite, or maybe you'll dislike the character, most of the time they carry it. They carry it, and you're like, okay, just like an example, but I know I'm biased and you will understand, but Thomas Shelby. When you see him, you're like, yeah, he's my man. He's my man. Like, even though you don't really like the story, you will keep watching for him. Another one is Viking Ragnar. Even though, yeah, I know people may criticize me, but he's not my favorite. He's not my favorite. But I definitely love him, and he carries the show. He does. He has this charisma that makes you want to keep watching it. As I said, just take your favorite show and comment in the section below. Let me know about your favorite show or movie. Like, you agree that even though they're not your favorite or they are your favorite, it's true that the way they are playing, you're so into the story that you want to keep watching it. Even though sometimes you don't even really like the story in itself, but the characters make you want to keep watching it. And that's the big problem with this actress for me. And as she's the main actor in this movie, unlike the Hunger Games when she was playing, I forgot the name of her character, sh the fact that she's not carrying it, unfortunately, she brings all the other characters down, which come with the next point. Side characters are a disaster. Either it's the prince, his team, and all the people that are useless, but they're just there to fill the blank. It's say like, okay, we're not just three characters; there are also people living here. They are boring. They are completely boring. The prince, I'm sorry to say, but is supposed to be a leader. And in a fiction, a leader is supposed to have charisma. So when you see him lead a team, you're like, okay, you got it because he's your guy. He has this charisma. Thomas Shelby, Ragnar Losbrock. But this guy, I'm sorry, but no. I don't know also if it's an issue due to the fact that this character doesn't exist, so they had to create something for him to give a little bit of background. But I'm sorry to say, it was completely bad. I mean, I saw fiction better than that. And I'm talking about the bad fan fiction, not the good one that was like, okay, this girl or this guy is doing a good job. No, 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 like the bad fan fiction. When they created character, I was like, why? How can a character be so bad? That's still better than this guy. He has zero charisma and his story is boring. When you talk about his life, I'm like, yeah, who cares? I'm like, I don't care about your life. It's not like over time it grows on you like, oh, okay, I hated this guy at the beginning, but the more you learn about his story, you feel, oh, I feel really bad because his facial expression, the character in itself, you're like, he's my guy. No, he's not. I'm sorry, and you're leader of who? I mean, his team, they're even worse than him, so in a way, it's still better than them, but the level is so low, there's nothing to be proud of to begin with. Nothing. And the next point that is related to what I was saying until now with Snow White, the side character, the chemistry. The chemistry in this movie is inexistent with every character. Maybe not the dwarves with themselves, because we remember all of them, so that might be the only good thing. But with others, it's boring. For example, Sloppy. I think it's Sloppy if I'm not wrong. I remember in French like Simple. I really like him at the beginning, but then we saw him with Snow White, I was like, I don't care. Not in a romantic relationship, not at all. Just like in a good relationship. I mean, it would be called like that if it was good, but it was not. I was like, I don't care. I just don't care. Just leave me alone. Just let him live his life and just you live your life. That's it. Chemistry in this movie is a disaster. Between the prince, the fake one, and Snow White, there's nothing. They fell in love with each other. You're like, How? Why? We know why. Because it was the look. They were attracted by each other physically. That's it. Because the way they are talking to each other, like, there's nothing. It's not funny. It's not entertaining. There is nothing between them. And I can compare to this Korean drama. I forgot the name, but it was with Park Bo-gum. It was one that was got really popular. I really forgot the name. Well, they were so funny. The Park Bogum and the main actress, they were really good between each other. So when we're seeing them bickering, you're like, I really like it. What is going to happen? I mean, obviously it's a romantic drama, so you know what will happen. But still, you want to know how it will cross between each other. You really like this synergy, this chemistry. You want to see them together and understand when it's going to start, the love is going to start, and you want to know all of this between them. I mean, from the very first scene, you know, because she's a girl, he's a guy, it's Disney, so yeah, you know, oh, this person was not interesting. When they are in the cheap woods with the like naked tree, it was not interesting, and until the very end, their relationship was boring. Or like there's nothing between you two. You just fall in love because you're supposed to for the purpose of this movie. That is all. No chemistry between Snow White and Evil Stepmother. Obviously, we don't see them often interacting with each other. So yeah, I think that might be the best relationship to be completely honest with you. No, I'm wrong. The Evil Stepmother and her mirror. This is the best relationship. But from that, the rest, I'm sorry, but no. But once again, it's a problem of characters. Do you remember two boring characters having an interesting relationship? It doesn't exist. Character has to be interesting in the first place. So at least one of them. So when we see them interacting with each other, you're like, I didn't like this one. I thought he was useless. But when he talked with my girl or with my boy, I'm like, yeah, they look good. They really look good. They have this thing together. Then you like it. You can feel it. You smell it. And you're like, I wish I had someone like this I can interact with every day. When you watch this movie, you don't think like that. You do not. So interaction is one of the worst things in this movie. So, my final thoughts about this Disney live action that was released. Well, let's say that there was a team behind this movie who did their best, so we have to thank them for that. Unfortunately, as I said, doing your best is not enough. Out of 10, it's true. Just because, I mean, they try something. That's the only reason. Otherwise, it would be 0 because almost everything was bad. And when I watched the movie, I mean, when I started, I was like, I didn't have expectation. I mean, I expected it to be really bad. But what I really know that people complaining mostly about the fact that Snow White was una Latina. Now, like, I will not focus just on that. Otherwise, what's the point to ever watch the movie? I would just say, es una Latina. ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? ¿Por qué? Ya. Cálmate. Por favor, tranquila, por favor. So, I was like, no, I would just judge the movie for what it is. I don't care if she was like a transgender or she was a man, she was hairy. No. Just see if it was kind of faithful to Disney cartoon. And for the most part, yes, it was. They tried to have the same costume, the same like hairstyle, the same settings. Like they really tried that. So really, thank you. Not trying to do something completely different from what we know. Does it mean that it was good? No, it was not. It was really bad. And as I said, I was expecting the movie to be really bad. I started and I was like, yeah, it's okay. It's not good, but it's okay. Come on. People love to complain. Then the more I was watching the movie, the more I was like, what is going on? What is going on here? Why is it empty? I mean, the cartoon itself, let's be honest, is not Ghibli. It's not Chihiro. Let's be honest. It's not Shingeki no Kyojin. It's not Tokyo Babylon. It's not Hokuto no Ken. Yeah, I mean, I'm not going to mention like all the manga that have a really great story. Cantarella. I have to say Cantarella and Nana. Please, I will just stop here now. Okay, I was not expecting, I mean, Snow White from Disneyland doesn't have this really good like story and character development that we can see in very good manga. Okay, I got it. And it was the first Disney, although some were released later and they were definitely not the best, but that's another story. I was not, that was not wow as a story, but it was good. It was refreshing, and it brings really something new in the cartoon industry. So yeah, they were a pilier. But this movie, I mean, I cannot even recommend someone to watch it just to have fun, because it's not even funny. And you know, sometimes you just watch a movie or series and you're like, I mean, maybe for my girls, I don't know guys, so I'll talk for my girls, you just like the makeup, like the style. So like, okay, it was really bad, but at least actresses, they knew how they were dressing. They knew their job. I love the makeup, like the, you know, you like all of this. And maybe some guys, you know, say like, okay, I really like the hairstyle, the dude, like, he looks good, he look like me. Yeah, but in this one, when you see the premiere, yeah, they look really gorgeous, and like you can say like, okay, I would like to have this kind of hairstyle, like this kind of something like really similar as an outfit I have to go out. Okay, but in the movie, no. And as the setting, it looks so cheap that you wouldn't go on doing such activity and they will offer it. You'll be like, to see what? Some trees? Grass? No! I'm like, no. It was bad. It was getting worse and worse. Senior. So I give it a 3 because, as I said, for the efforts of every actor, actresses, like the production, the people behind the scene, just for that, that's it. I'm sorry, but for the story in itself, everything related like to the movie in itself, like to what we see with our eyes and what we hear with our ears, that's what we taste because we don't really taste it. No, I'm sorry. I can't. Was bad, so no. And for me, at least, if the prince had a nice English accent, it would have gave him a lot of points, but they didn't. So I'm like, no, I'm sorry. And they could have done something interesting and pretty good actually, but yeah, not for this movie. But if you have time to waste, or you just put it in the background, and if it's for children, I would recommend, because there's no profanity, the way they are dressed, it's not like too much, you know. There's nothing like what they are saying. You're like, okay, can I leave my children watch and listen to those kind of movie? No, really, for that, if it's for children, I would highly recommend. You can let this movie and they will appreciate or not. If they do not, you know that they have good taste already. They can distinguish what is good and what is not. But if they like it, that's completely fine. And you can leave it for a teenager or an adult. If you're studying and you know you need something in the background, yeah, just put it. Yeah, go. Like watching the movie and being 100% focused on the movie only. No, I don't hate you that much to force you to do something like that. That's really not nice. That it would be really not nice and respectful for you over this movie. So thank you very much for everyone if you made it until the end. As I said, for me it was a very bad movie, a disaster, nothing to keep. I mean, almost nothing to keep, but at least they tried. Don't have to bash the actress because she's, como lo he dicho, es una latina y no te gusta, c'est pas grave. It's not the end of the day. I mean, just if you can, the fact that she's not blanca, it's a bad movie. Even if it was she was white, it would be still a bad movie. Let's be honest, it would have been a bad movie. But anyway, I will come next time with a review of The Little Mermaid. I watched it already. I will not say what I think about it in this video, but you will know very soon. So, ladies and gents, bye bye.